Trump's only been in office for 6 weeks. Seems like 6 years, doesn't it? And he's been going around with his cronies touting his so-called landslide and blowout win. But he won the popular vote by 1.5%, one of the smallest ever, and he won the general election by less than 50%. So what kind of mandate is this really?
Well, it is a mandate, and I'm going to explain why. And I don't mind the question, but let me be very clear. I'm no supporter of Trump. I'm a supporter of truth and the facts. And here's the facts. The man won every swing state. He increased in terms of his voter turnout in his favor from the standpoint of blacks, Latinos, and young voters. He increased his numbers in that regard from 2020. 89% of the counties shifted to the right. That's a mandate. We can sit up there and play around all we want to. In 2020, Trump didn't win the popular vote. He didn't win the electoral college vote. A matter of fact, the Republicans hadn't won the popular vote, if I remember correctly, since 2004. But they did this year. So 20 years after they last won the popular vote, they won the popular vote. They won the electoral college vote. The man won every swing state. And on top of it all, 89% of the counties shifted against. I don't understand how people can look at that and say, there's no mandate. There's a mandate.
Well, it's a different definition of a mandate, I guess.
But the problem is that if you're the Democratic Party and you lost 49.8% to 48.3%, and you're looking at that 1.5% dip, that's an excuse for you to say, what we did really wasn't that bad.
Some people didn't
we should continue to do that.
Do you
no,
think that
don't continue to do that. Find a new strategy.
But do you think those groups, the black voters, the Latino voters, and the others that you mentioned, are they going to regret it soon?
Possibly. I think so. I don't like what I'm seeing from Trump. I didn't like what I saw with Zelensky. I didn't like what I saw with a few things. But in the end,
Zelensky?
In the end, the point, I didn't like it.
But in the Oval Office.
But in the end, what it comes down to is this. The American people, in their eyes, it wasn't about him. They were voting against what the Democrats were throwing in their direction. I don't only talk to Cuomo. I did interview Eric Adams. I did interview Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries. I interviewed these people. I've talked to them, and I'm going to talk to some more of them, too. And I'm going to say the same message. What are you doing to win? I love Wes Moore, the governor of Maryland. I love Dr. Kim of Pennsylvania, okay? I just interviewed Cuomo. I like him a lot. I want somebody to step up and recognize that man in the Oval Office, whether you like it or not, is potent. He's coming and he wins. You got to find a way to beat him. This way is not the way that the Democrats have been doing it.
Let's talk about how people are feeling about his performance, because a CNN poll this week found that 52% of people disapprove of Trump's performance in office so far. So even though he may have won the general election by less than 50%, 52% disapprove of what he's doing. We're also seeing Republican voters at town halls opposing his executive overreach, giving Elon Musk the shadow presidency. Yet you said, quote, Trump is closer to normal than what we're seeing on the left.
Yeah, I was talking about why he won the election.
So?
When I made that statement, I was talking about, that was before the election.
I see.
Right?
Okay.
So when during the election, I said, in the immediate aftermath of the election, I pointed out he was voted for because they considered him closer to normal than what the Democrats were spewing. That was what I said at that particular moment in time. Now, obviously, Elon Musk is an entirely different matter altogether. This man is not an elected official. He hasn't been confirmed by the Senate or anything, but he's got an inordinate amount of power.
Given to him by Trump.
I can understand how that could scare the living daylights out of folks, and the approval ratings, obviously we pay attention to that. But here's the bigger question. Who on the Democratic side are the American people pointing to and saying that's the person?
Well,
they don't have anybody yet.
We're 6 weeks in with
National Voice.
Right.
We're 6 weeks in with who. Everybody said let him do what he's doing so we can see what's going on. And now people are saying, well, what are you going to do as a Democrat? Well, wait a minute now. Y'all didn't want to hear what we had to say as Democrats because that wasn't what people voted for.
True.
So now we have a clear definition, and the American people will decide how they like what he's doing because now it's affecting in a way that people were not anticipating. People who didn't think they would be affected, like the folks who work in the federal government, they never saw this coming.
And
they
people
never
can't make
saw
omelets
this coming.
anymore.
Sorry about
That's
it.
right.
People can make omelets. Everybody doesn't eat eggs.
At least I'm happy, but we're never happy. When we had Trump before, we didn't appreciate him, but I think Trump is a great president. Actually, he's the best president in my eyes. He's the best president we ever had. Great businessman, and that's what it's about.
Yeah, and the way the day's cabinet thing, you probably went around here, it was really phenomenal. To the point you talked about, team, putting together a great team.
Yes,
put together a fantastic cabinet.
Trump has done an amazing job, and a lot of people around America are upset. But no matter who goes in the White House, we're always upset.
Right.
And I think Trump is the man for the job. He's the best president in my eyes.
Uh-oh. Floyd Mayweather is about to get his black card revoked. He is no longer invited to the cookout. Wow, I'm telling you, it's a testosterone difference, right? You see, the men that are actually masculine men are Republican, are right-leaning, right, are conservatives. All of these soy boy liberals are leftists. They're liberals. They're Democrats. I love this. I love that he's not scared to come out and speak up, even though that his black card might be in jeopardy.
Are we actually in a place where the only way you can be black and stand with your people is to be a Democrat? Now, if that's where we are, we're the dumbest people on the face of the planet. And we're the only people in America who operate that way. You can be white and be a Republican or a Democrat. Hispanic and be a Republican or a Democrat. Praise the Lord. Whatever, and be a Republican or a Democrat. But if you're black, the only way you can be an authentic black person is to be a Democrat. That's stupid. And you know what it means? It means that explains why we spend half the time, or maybe even more, out of power.
That's a fact.
I've said for years, we need to operate politically, and I want to make this clear, in a way where both parties will compete for our vote. When one party knows that they're going to get your vote no matter what, you get nothing from that party. When another party knows that they're not going to get your vote no matter what, you get nothing from that party.
Facts.
So then you end up in no man's land. Woo. We are not married to the Democrat Party. People have a right to choose. And if you choose to be a Democrat, if you choose to be a Republican, if you choose to be independent, as I am, that doesn't make you more black nor less black. It means you're an American participating in the process. And God is on our side. Now, if we want to talk about whose side God is on, it's the Democrats who are pushing same-sex marriage. It's the Democrats who are pushing letting children get mutilated. Little 8-year-old boys getting turned into girls.
He's talking.
It's the Democrats who are 100% in their platform behind abortion and abortion rights up till the time of birth. If we start talking about whose side God is on, you got to dismiss most of the scripture to be a Democrat. Well, there are other things. What other things? What's more important than life? Trump ain't no good. Yeah, but he signed an executive order to protect Christians. He's no good, but the polls show that Christianity now has leveled off and is going back on the rise again since he's been in office. You just got to do your homework. Now you start talking about whose side God is on. No, the question not whose side God is on. The question is the question Moses asked. Who's on the Lord's side?
Man, I don't know who this gentleman is, but he was on point. He is on point. We are the stupidest group of voters there is. And that quote that he said that if one party knows that they're going to always get your vote no matter what, they'll never deliver for you. And if one party knows that they're never going to get your party or your vote no matter what, why would they advocate for you? Why would they? I wouldn't blame them. Every single time that a Republican is running or a Republican is trying to advocate for black people, they call him all types of racial slurs. Republicans are automatically labeled as racist no matter what. Automatically, they're labeled as the racist party. So black people are going to dismiss them. Minorities are going to dismiss them. And that is the problem, is that if you're a minority and you don't vote for a Democrat, your minority identity, your minority card no longer exists. Because that's what Democrats and these leftists do, is they try to marginalize anybody. They try to oppress anybody that they can, or just sell them oppression as a whole so they can get your vote. And then if you don't vote for them, well, you're a sellout. You're a coon. You're an Uncle Tom. They automatically reject you, which just proves that the so-called oppression that they believe that you had isn't real. Because if it no longer exists because you don't vote for them, right, because they automatically just shun you, then where was it at to begin with? And that's the craziest part about these Democrats. You cannot trust these people whatsoever. That party is it's corrupt to its core. It's corrupt to its core. And hey, this was spot on.
Please follow, like, and share this video. Unfortunately, the American people have still not been able to identify their enemy. I remember when Joe Biden became president. On CNN, the guest said she just saw an American flag flying on a truck, on the back of a pickup truck. She said she was triggered because it was just blatant racism. The American flag. I was like, wow, are they really going to make the American flag a symbol of racism? And then from there, I was just like, oh, here it comes. Then you had this situation with Gretchen Whitmer in Michigan, where some white supremacists were going to grab her and charge her with treason. And then once the court case and everything got started, it was the FBI. It was the FBI. You know, then you want to do this Black Pledge of Allegiance. Believe it or not, I know a lot of black people, and they've never heard of it. But who was pushing this leftist, liberal, democratic way that white men were the enemy of the United States? How was it that they could push such an agenda? And then you had minority women on the news like AOC when their partners or husbands were white men.
Facts.
And then you have the scene of the bridge just recently where they got the white supremacists on the bridge showing signs. Police officers have both ends blocked off, but just so happens a group of African Americans are getting out of their cars to confront the white supremacists. Looked like a movie scene to me. Who was pushing this? White men are under the Biden administration. Who was pushing that white men were the number one threat to America and pushing this LGBTQFU trans movement? Who was it? And then they was controlling banks, big business, the media, Hollywood, the entertainment. I mean, all over the Netflix movies, you name it. Who is pushing this agenda?
Facts.
Only thing I was thinking is, I don't think it could be white men, because I wouldn't put out a bunch of content that would promote hating black people. So who is promoting this? Please, I just want to know, and I will be reading the comments. Who do you think is pushing this agenda? I'm curious to know. I know.
All right, so if you guys don't know who this is, it's really hard to see him, but this is the rapper Pitbull. Pitbull. I don't know if you guys have heard of him. He's very popular. Let's listen to what he said.
The fuck doesn't like the United States of America, may God bless you, but fuck you at the same time. If you don't like the United States of America, go back to the countries that we the fuck from, and you'll see how much you appreciate the United States of America.
Boom, he's on point. He's on point. It seems like immigrants appreciate this country way more than its own citizens. But that's because most Americans are just sheltered. they've never really experienced anything else outside of their vicinity, outside of what their, what their proximity allows them to see. But if they were able to go to places where I come from, one of the poorest countries is doing much better now, but one of the poorest countries in the world, or where most immigrants come from. Most people flee poverty, oppression, tyranny, and they come here for the freedom. I dare you to go back over there and live there and see how bad America is. I mean, you would beg to come back. I guarantee you would beg to come back. And here's the thing, and this is what people fail to understand, right? Is when people talk about leaving America and going to go live in a different country, like, oh, I'm going to go live in Mexico. I'm going to go live in Africa. I'm going to go live wherever. They're looking at it from the perspective of going to live there with their American dollars, right? You're not going to go and live in that country and live off of the average income of those citizens there. I guarantee you won't. I promise you won't. You won't last long. You're only willing to go to these countries if you're taking your American dollars with you, because it's going to allow you to live the luxury lifestyle that you get to see, at the beaches of Mexico. The regular average citizen is not living like that. Those are resorts that you're looking at. Those are tourist areas that you're looking at. So that's the only way that people will put themselves in somebody else's shoes, is if they go live in that country, but only live there with their American dollars. There's nobody that's going to go there and give up their American dollars, give up their American privilege, give up their American rights, and then go live in those countries with their rights, with their freedoms that they have or lack thereof, and their average income. And go there for about a year, right? And then let us know how bad America is, right? Let us know. But anyway, hope you enjoyed the video for today, guys. If you did, hit the like button down below. Let's talk about the comments. Let's talk about the video in the comment section. Let me know what your opinions are. And of course, if you are brand new, consider hitting subscribe, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.